Pathmark is the AI for website conversions. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in the buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmark qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences, like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by more than 50%. Add Pathmark to your website in seconds, let the artificial intelligence do all the work, increase conversions by more than 50% while you keep doing marketing as usual. Check us out on pathmark.com. All right, welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Selim Maalouf from Limited Tech Solutions, who's a HubSpot Integrated Partner Solutions. So good to have you on today's show, Selim.
Thank you for having me, Rick.
So that everyone who's listening can get a good understanding of what you guys do. I'll have a few questions coming your way, Selim. So in your own words, can you tell us what the heart of what your company does and how would you describe it to someone new?
Yeah. Unlimited Tech Solutions is an elite HubSpot Solutions partner that is focused on integration projects and connecting disparate systems to HubSpot, and we're focused on enabling HubSpot's customer platform. Even though we are a HubSpot Solutions partner, our approach is kind of platform agnostic, so we always go for the best integration path and not necessarily, HubSpot all the time. So this is us in a nutshell and kind of embodies our thought process and how we approach integration projects.
Okay, very cool. So I'm curious, what type of businesses or industries do you feel you're able to serve the best? And specifically, what's the core problem you solve for them? What can they expect when they come to you?
Yeah, of course. While HubSpot's customer platform is really powerful and can serve a lot of industries, we've had most success in field service, in manufacturing. And interestingly enough, I used to be an industrial engineer before I went into the HubSpot world. And basically a lot of big enterprise that have large moving parts, big legacy software, giant ERPs that's been running for decades. And they encounter the problem of wanting to adopt a modern CRM like HubSpot. And then they have their stack disconnected. We focus on making sure the stack is connected, either through direct integrations, off-the-shelf integrations, IPAAS solutions. We have our own custom IPAAS solution called Korana that we run most of our integrations through. And basically, anytime you have a tech stack that is not connected, we help you connect it to have your data in one place.
All right, that's very helpful. And in fact, anytime I speak to someone who uses HubSpot, right, sometimes they are a little bit overwhelmed. And so I guess a question there would be, what's your main piece of advice for someone who has identified HubSpot as the solution to use for their marketing, their sales and whatnot, but it's not quite, clear on where to start, basically?
Yeah. One thing I should note that if you've explored HubSpot in the past, say 3-4 years ago, HubSpot has changed completely within the last 2 years. You might think HubSpot is, that quote unquote expensive marketing platform. It's not that anymore. It went from a marketing platform to a multi-hub suite of software to now a customer platform that enables you to connect everything to it. So when you're thinking about HubSpot, don't start from the starting point of this is a marketing automation platform. HubSpot is not just that. It includes the best marketing automation platform, in my opinion, in it, but it's not just that. So when you're thinking about HubSpot and trying to approach HubSpot, don't pigeonhole yourself into HubSpot being just a marketing tool. Consider HubSpot as your, it's not a customer data platform, but it behaves very closely to a customer data platform. So if you want a 360 view of what's happening with your customers, HubSpot can be at the base of that. And yes, it is overwhelming if you come at it and look at all the tiers and pricing, and not everything has an off-the-shelf marketplace integration. We are the best partners to help you start that journey. In fact, a lot of our HubSpot sales reps engage with us. They don't go at they don't try to engage clients alone. They always have a partner with them. So the first step would be to reach out to a partner that understands your industry, that understands your needs. Dare I say, we are able to meet any challenge. And if you need your tech collected in one place, we can help that. We are not, though, a RevOps consultancy. Like, we will not tell you how to run your sales operations, your marketing operations. We're more here to enable your tech stack and connect it together.
Okay, very good. Well, will our audience know that's where they should go if that's the case, right? And obviously we'll share your details at the end of the episode. And in fact, I'm wondering, if we send someone to your website, then I'll have something about your website as well, right? So how important is your website when it comes to attracting clients? Do you feel it has any standout strengths, or maybe areas that could be improved?
We operate in an interesting industry. We are a software partner attached to a specific, software platform. We are software agnostic, but like most of our go-to-market strategy from the inception of our company until now has been through referrals and word of mouth from sales reps of that software platform. And we've had explosive growth because of that. And so we have been trying to work on upgrading our website, reworking our messaging, because we've been coasting, dare I say, on that go-to-market strategy of referrals. But we know at any point things can change, the referrals can dry up, and one little mistake can erode trust from these reps, and suddenly our pipeline is shrinking. So we are very aware of that. But looking at our analytics and the sources of our revenue, I will honestly say around 5% comes from our website. But I personally am working on changing that.
Okay, fair enough. So looking at that data, you say that's 5%, just about 5%, right? So even within that, there might be lessons you can learn, right? So is there anything that you've learned about what makes a converting website? Any tools, tips, methods, any approaches that you will be able to recommend?
Yeah, I can't really talk about our current website since I have recently joined the organization, but I can talk about what I've learned in the past from trying to run adjacent websites for agencies and internal industrial companies. Are you familiar with the Ask You Answer by Marcus Sheridan?
I am no.
So it is a framework that was developed by Marcus Sheridan in the book called The Ask You Answer. It's a really good read if anyone's interested in learning how to do modern content marketing. I really advise you to take a look at the Ask You Answer. But basically, within the toolbox, there's a lot of things you can do, and I have adapted some of them and tweaked them to my liking during the years. One of the big things is your website needs to have what they call the big five, which are five pieces of information that anyone is trying to get before they decide if they want to work with you or not. One is cost. The second is, what are the downsides of your product? The third is comparing to alternatives. The fourth is your reviews. And the fifth is, what is the best solution for this problem we're facing? These are scary, because if you're trying to market a bad product, you will shy away from 4 out of these 5s. And it's scary content, but this is what people want. And if you provide them this content, they will more likely convert on your website. The second thing is, there's a concept called the Learning Center. which is basically a part of your navigation that includes literally every collateral you have, be it articles, videos, guides, tools, case studies, podcasts, anything that is not purely a product page and is valuable to some extent to someone making a decision needs to live under, the Learning Center page, which is proudly displayed as one of your big menus. And that also, with the Big Five and the Learning Center, that gives the opportunity for self-service. People need the tools to be able to serve themselves. So no call for price, no send a request for more info. People need to be able to bring themselves almost to the finish line and only need your help to, hash out the details. If you have an e-commerce website, they don't even need you. They can check out themselves. If you're a B2B company, all they need is a way to convey that, yes, we want to work with you. Here's my details. Let's hash out the logistics of it. And the last thing, honestly, I can't not talk about it since we work in HubSpot. It's your MarTech and CRM stack. HubSpot specifically offers the ability to connect your CRM to your website and create dynamic content based on data you have in the CRM. If you're not leveraging that today, that's really a big miss. But some people fall into the trap of being too creepy and using too much identifying information, so people get off-put. So there's a really fine balance between making sure that the people that are looking at your website are finding the right content for them. That includes, leveraging something like industry, making sure that the copy is industry specific, looking at their life cycle stage, making sure that they're not seeing content that they've already seen or is aimed at solving answering a question that they already have answered. So I guess all of those for me have put me in a spot where I know what a good converting website is. And it's typically a long journey. It's not a small, like one month project that, okay, we're going to revamp the website. It's more a continuous process that always keeps updating and updating.
Okay, that's very good. And the last point that you mentioned about, being relevant without being creepy, I think many people can relate to that, especially nowadays, because there are ways that people connect with you online. Let's say they try to connect, but they actually, maybe it's an outreach, of some kind, but they'll get into too much detail, and you feel like, the boundaries have, been
crossed. Yeah.
So, right, exactly. So, and that can happen online, but I don't think it could happen as much. I don't think people would do as much in person, right? We tend to, maybe keep more of a distance or try to be more careful about what we say and how we act. And in fact, I wanted to talk about, we were talking offline about how you went to Inbound 24, right? The conference. So if you could share with our listeners, what was the experience like? If you had any major takeaway that you walked away with?
Yeah. Honestly, Inbound itself is a no-brainer for anyone who is working on the, in the HubSpot ecosystem. If you're a solutions partner or you serve HubSpot clients, it's a no-brainer. If you're a user, the 3 days of general admission are really like a masterclass, a crash course in everything you might need as a user. But what we've noticed recently, that there's a lot of prospects who don't already own or use HubSpot that have been attending Inbound. And a lot of the event has been cognizant of that and trying to cater to that. And it's less of a sales pitch and more trying to create sessions that teach you how to think properly. And once you think properly about the issues you're facing in RevOps, in everything else, then you will come to your own conclusions, and those typically are that you need HubSpot. But us as a elite solutions partner, that's our biggest event of the year. We went, we were 7 people there, our leadership, our marketing team, and a big part of our services team. And Everybody really enjoyed the event, but it's clear that HubSpot itself is graduating from playing in the small to medium business market and is really gunning for enterprise. And the tool set that they've been developing and the frenetic pace that they've been putting out product updates has been like clear that they're trying to go for enterprise. But I have some controversial takes. I am a big fan of AI, but not everywhere. And honestly, a lot of their improvements around their customer platforms have been overshadowed by their new AI products, which are cool, but having them be center stage versus the big changes that they're doing for us to be able to connect HubSpot to even more platforms and create a more cohesive experience. We felt like, the event is less about what we can do for HubSpot clients and more about the HubSpot user and like, hey, all these new shiny AI features.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. The AI that is all over at the moment. So I guess, to attract more eyeballs, let's say, that's the strategy, right? But to what cost? And I guess you make a good point there. So I'm sure if there are more people like you that feel that way, they'll change, because HubSpot historically, I think they've been good at listening to their users and people they work with. And so, yeah, I mean,
to be fair, there is a window right now in the public marketplace where if you don't launch your AI products now and have them mature in the next year or two, the window will close to be like, oh, hey guys, I also have AI stuff. Like, if you're not including an AI product right now that is really fleshed out and mature and looks more than a chat interface that is wrapping OpenAI's APIs, then your window is closing. So I understand why they did that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about you as a leader, Selim. So I have a question about, day in the life. Let's say on a typical day, what the main things you focus on? What does a day in your role look like?
Yeah. I'm in an interesting position where I'm not simply the marketer, but I'm also an SME. And I do pre-sale solution architecture for our revenue team. So my day is kind of split between, marketing and pre-sale solutions. And it's an interesting dilemma, but also offers me better insight. Typically, marketers need to schedule a lot of time with SMEs to understand the product, understand how to sell it. I don't need to do that, but also that time that I save, I'm also spending on my other duties, which are pre-sale solution architecture. So it's an interesting day of the life if I were to describe it. I am a proponent of social content. I'm a proponent of the idea of creating long form content and repurposing it, chopping it into smaller pieces. So a lot of my marketing planning revolves around what is our ICP, what are current campaigns, what are point of views we're trying to push. I prepare some kind of, show notes for our two leaders. We record content with them once every 2 weeks. We take that recording, chop it up, push it on social, take that transcript, rework it into blog and newsletter and ebooks and stuff like that. That's on the marketing side. And on the pre-sale side, I always am looking at new challenges. Here's a new platform we're trying to connect to HubSpot. Can we do it? Dive into API documentation, tell the sales team, hey, we can, but here's all the requirements that we need to do that. So it's an interesting balance. I'm still finding my stride. I've joined the organization around 2 months ago, so we're still in the starting phases of building our marketing. They haven't had a marketing department before I joined, and honestly, their growth was so shocking. In 3 years, they managed to become a HubSpot Elite partner, which is not something typical. So I'm really excited to be, pushing their marketing to another level. You know, marketers don't always have that safety net of we don't need leads right now. And all my previous marketing jobs, like I was on that crunch. It's nice to finally be in a position where we have time to develop a marketing program. We have time to let it mature on its own. You don't need to, underbake it and push it out the door. We have the ability to experiment. We have the ability to test messaging. We have the ability to engage different co-marketing opportunities. So it's nice to not be, rushed for quote unquote MQLs from the get-go. Yeah.
Right. And it sounds to me like, well, just from the way you talk about it, like you have fun. I mean, I'm sure it's hard, right? But I like the description that you told me last time, and it's also on your LinkedIn, I believe, that you're a jack of two trades. Right? Yeah. Now that you answered this question, it makes perfect sense, right? But it sounds more than two trades. At the end of the day, it's like an extension, and you just, it's not like you jump from thing to thing necessarily, as in, context switching, but everything is connected, but at the same time, it's, a lot of stuff. Sounds like it, at least. Right.
My entire career, I've faced that dilemma because I'm formally trained as an industrial engineer and worked around 3 years as a designer, 3 years as an applications engineer. So I've been an SME most of my career. But when I switched to marketing, and I enjoyed marketing a lot and worked in a lot of industrial companies, I've always had the itch to go back to being an SME. And I've always found myself at the intersection of, SME and marketer. In the industrial space, I was the marketer that didn't need to contact SMEs to do my marketing. And now inside of HubSpot, since I've done HubSpot consultancy, I'm also the one that knows what's going on. So I don't need to go to our CTO and get him to tell us like, hey, I need this information. I can put it together myself. So yeah, the jack of two trades, I can basically describe it as I'm the SME and the marketer.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a valuable skill set and role to have 100%. Okay. Since we are coming to the end of the interview, Selim, I want to jump into our rapid fire questions, and only short and crisp answers allowed. You ready?
Ready.
All right. So what's the most recent piece of content you consume, and why did it stick with you?
Honestly, some interesting content as I enjoy Chris Walker from Refine Labs, and I can't really pinpoint a specific piece of content. I know you said quick, but just go to Refine Labs and see the latest content they have. It's always valuable.
All right, so good. If there were no limits with technology, what's the one thing that you love to solve that will make your life way easier as a marketer?
A video editor that can see what I have in my head and give me the output that I need.
That's brilliant. All right. If you could automate one thing that you find yourself doing over and over and over, what would it be?
A realistic version of my previous answer, which is I would love an AI model that can take a transcript and actually recognize what is a valuable snippet and what is not, because I've been disappointed until now with all the results that I've seen.
Okay, awesome. And this is just looking back, right? So if you give advice to yourself when you were first starting out as a marketer, what would it be?
Start being present on LinkedIn earlier and don't stop.
Okay, that's a powerful one. So, okay, Selim, thanks a lot for being with us on the show today. I want to give you the last word. So if someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is the one thing they should remember about your company?
HubSpot is not a CRM. HubSpot is not a marketing automation platform. HubSpot is a platform that you are able to build all of your company's operations on. And if you need something like that, we believe that we're the best partner to help you do that.
Amazing. Thanks again, Selim. Have a good one.
Thank you, Rick.